हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू टेक विद टीजी, योर फेवरेट शो अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजी, क्योंकि यहां पे ही आपको मिलती हैं सारी बातें अप क्लोज इन द फील्ड ऑफ टेक। हमने हर एपिसोड में कोशिश यही करी है टू शो यू समथिंग रियली यूनिक एंड रियली एक्सक्लूसिव। एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट टेक, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट कम्स टू योर माइंड? आई एम श्योर the answer would be your smartphone or smartwatch or laptop or computer or speaker or something like this. लेकिन अगर आप जरा सा थोड़ा बड़ा सोचो तो you'd realize कि टेक इज omnipresent. सबसे बड़ा रोल अगर टेक का है वो ये कि हम इस दुनिया से, इस वर्ल्ड से बाहर जा सके. Speaking of going to the moon, going to the Mars, अब मार्स में जाके हम कब रहेंगे and all, this again remains to be a question. But अभी के लिए I'm sure you all are aware about India's own Chandrayaan 3. So in this episode, let's talk about ISRO, let's talk about this aerospace technology, let's learn about the Chandrayaan 3 and see कि वहाँ पे टेक ने कैसे enable किया है हमें कि हम जाके सीधा चांद पे लैंड करने वाले हैं. माय नेम इज गौरव, एके टेक्निकल गुरुजी. यू आर वॉचिंग टेक विद टीजी. जल्दी से आगे बढ़ते हैं, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. So guys, before I talk about this aerospace, technologies and multiple things, because मेरे पास में एक dynamic team है, उन्होंने पहले मेरा ही टेस्ट लेने का प्लान कर लिया. They have planned a challenge with me, a fun Q&A round, just to check कि मैं कितने पानी में हूँ. And because this is all about me and you watching together, let's do this challenge together. जहाँ पे I'm gonna participate along with you and we all play this game. कुछ questions का जवाब देने की कोशिश करते हैं. Let's figure out how much do we know or how much I would say a common man knows about space. I am ready. पूछो क्या questions है.
सबसे पहले बने स्पेस शटल का नाम क्या था?
स्पुतनिक था क्या?
Wrong. The correct answer is Enterprise.
Sputnik was I think the first satellite if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
What was the name of the first living creature जो स्पेस में गया था?
Dog Laika I think.
Wrong again. The first living creature जो स्पेस में गया था was a rhesus monkey. But yeah, आप सही थे. Most people think it's a dog named Laika. Laika technically second animal था स्पेस में.
तो हमने ये क्यों पढ़ा है या कहाँ पढ़ा है कि लाइका See guys, sometimes this is what the situation is कि हमें पता तो है but I think not completely. I think yeah.
Who was the first Indian to land on the moon?
कोई लैंड नहीं किया ना अभी तक तो. There's no Indian to land on moon. I think Mr. Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian to go in space, but moon landing अभी तक नहीं किया किसी इंडियन ने.
Correct and correct.
Yeah.
What is the name for the official border between Earth's surface, where the atmosphere ends, and outer space?
I think because I play this game about simulators for rockets and stuff, and I think वहाँ पे एक level आता है. It's called Kármán line.
Correct.
Okay.
वापस चांद पे चलते हैं.
हाँ.
चांद पे लैंड करने वाले ह्यूमंस के फर्स्ट मिशन का नाम क्या था?
It was Apollo 11, 1969.
Correct and correct. चांद पे उतरने वाले पहले इंसान का नाम क्या था?
नील आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग, ऑफ कोर्स. कितनी बार पढ़ लिया, याद कर लिया, स्पेलिंग भी याद है, एवरीथिंग.
ओके, तो सेकंड?
बज ऑल्ड्रिन.
करेक्ट.
And I think the third person who went along, he did not land, he was orbiting around, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct as well.
Yeah.
What is the name of the first Indian space station?
As of now, there's no space station, from India. ISS है, but उसमें India का कोई contribution. ISRO is planning, of course, for a space station, but right now what we have is the International Space Station, but of course it's not from India.
Correct.
Okay. That's all?
Yes.
Again, मैं कौन हूँ तो बोलने वाला, because मैंने ही बीच में 3-4 तो wrong दे दिए होंगे. Guys, you tell me, आप कितने सवालों का सही जवाब दे पाए, या कितने आपके लिए बहुत ही easy, या फिर कुछ एकदम नई learnings थी जो आपको पता ही नहीं था. A complete clarity that is by default present in all of us is about ISRO. हमें ये जरूर पता है कि if we talk about space, if we talk about something, about space exploration, या आपका space में जाने के लिए कोई rocket या whatever, ISRO is the body from India. The Indian Space Research Organization started in 1969 और तब से लेके आज तक इसरो ने बहुत बार हम सभी को ये प्राउड वाली फीलिंग दी है विद मल्टीपल सच काइंड ऑफ मिशंस, काफी सारी सैटेलाइट लॉन्चेस, मल्टीपल थिंग्स. सो लेट्स सी अभी तक इसरो ने क्या क्या किया है and what all are kind of the true achievements of ISRO in the field of space. So guys, before I talk about the achievements of ISRO, we all should recall the humble beginnings of this organization. 1969 में जब इसको स्टार्ट किया, उसके बाद के कुछ जो इनिशियल ईयर्स थे, we have all seen these photos कि कैसे साइकिल और बैलगाड़ी पे रॉकेट्स के पार्ट्स को कैरी किया जाता था. मतलब वहां से शुरुआत करने के बाद टुडे while we have multiple achievements in pocket, हमको लगता है कि we have definitely come up a long way, and it's all because of the brilliant minds working at ISRO. मतलब 2008 was the time when ISRO launched its first moon mission, the Chandrayaan 1, जिसने confirm किया था the presence of water on moon. 2013 को we can never forget the Mars Orbiter mission, MOM as we call it, जो कुछ 400 करोड़ रुपए के लगभग बजट में पहले अटेम्प्ट में मंगल तक पहुंच गया. ये बजट बाय द वे इज वे लेस देन द बजट ऑफ आदि पुरुष मूवी. और आप सोचो, इंडिया बिकेम द फर्स्ट कंट्री ग्लोबली टू रीच मार्स इन देयर मेडन अटेम्प्ट, और ये हमने किया 2013 में. 2017 का वो टाइम था व्हेन इसरो मेड अ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बाय लॉन्चिंग 104 सैटेलाइट्स इन वन गो. मतलब एक रॉकेट एक बार ऊपर गया 104 सैटेलाइट्स को लेके अपने साथ टू प्लेस ऑल द सैटेलाइट्स इन देयर रिस्पेक्टिव ऑर्बिट्स. उसके बाद अगर हम बात करें तो 2019 में चंद्रयान 2 वाज लॉन्च्ड, जहां पे द कॉन्सेप्ट वाज टू हैव एन ऑर्बिटर टू ऑर्बिट अराउंड द मून, एंड देन इट हैड अ लैंडर एंड अ रोवर. Unfortunately, उस टाइम पे लैंडर crashed on the surface of moon, but still this mission was a partial success because orbiter अभी भी actively काम कर रहा है. That was launched with Chandrayaan 2. इसके अलावा अगर हम देखते हैं तो ISRO has definitely launched numerous satellites for various reasons. I mean, helping us in weather forecasting, helping us in remote sensing, helping us in agriculture, helping us in kind of disaster management. तो बहुत सारी satellites को इसरो ने आज तक अपने शुरुआत से लॉन्च किया है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द इंडियन रीजनल नेविगेशन सिस्टम, जिसको हम नेविक के नाम से जानते हैं, ये एक जीपीएस का इक्विवेलेंट है, डेवलप्ड बाय इंडिया, डेवलप्ड फॉर इंडिया, जहां पे एक सैटेलाइट्स का नेटवर्क है टू पिन पॉइंट योर लोकेशन व्हाइल यू आर इन दैट कवरेज एरिया. नाउ द चंद्रयान 3 इज द लेटेस्ट वन, जहां पे द आइडिया इज अगेन to go to the moon, जहां पे ऑर्बिटर, क्योंकि चंद्रयान 2 का it's already in place, we're going to use that, but then again we have this lander, the Vikram lander and Pragyan rover along. And not just this, by the way, if I talk about some of the future missions of ISRO, so ISRO is not taking any break, because the idea is now to go to the sun with the latest आदित्य L1 mission, जहां पे मंगल पे पहुंच चुके हैं, चांद पे जा चुके हैं. Now the idea is to go to the sun directly, and I'm sure this mission again would bring in even more proud to us. इसके अलावा in fact if I talk about गगनयान, मतलब इसरो का पहला manned mission to space, वो भी it's in plan, because of this COVID stuff in between it got delayed, but अभी जो इसरो करता आया है, it is a lot, and even the future it holds a lot with the mission to the sun and Gaganyaan. But abhi ke liye let's go thoda sa deep and learn about this new moon mission Chandrayaan 3 कि आखिर इसमें ऐसा क्या स्पेशल है. Speaking of Chandrayaan 3, सबसे पहले तो let's focus on the keyword which is Chandrayaan. And I always, I'm excited about the way ISRO, gives these names to these missions, because काफी एक अच्छा alignment है with the Indian values, our history, and now in this modern age we have, these names coming along. तो Chandrayaan जो mission की पूरी सीरीज है, फर्स्ट वन पानी की डिस्कवरी हमने कर ली थी 2008 में, तो चंद्रयान 1 इट डिस्कवर्ड लाइक इट काइंड ऑफ कंफर्म्ड द प्रेजेंस ऑफ वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ द मून. चंद्रयान 2 के टाइम पे ऑर्बिटर हमारा पहुंच चुका था इन प्लेस. लैंडर अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्रैश्ड. But now, with the Chandrayaan 3, we have a slight change. The change is, with Chandrayaan 2, we had 3 modules. One was the orbiter, then a lander, और उस lander में से निकलता the rover. But now, because the orbiter from Chandrayaan 2 is already in place, we don't need to have another orbiter. So, अभी with Chandrayaan 3, it's carrying the lander and the rover. And because we are saving weight, of that orbiter, अभी यहाँ पे the lander is even more robust. ये ज़्यादा strong है. This time, multiple new enhancements are going on in terms of extra cameras, extra sensors, much stronger legs for the Vikram lander. And इन सब चीज़ों के साथ में, the interesting insight comes from the Pragyan rover. Like we'll have an actual rover on the surface of the moon, and ये जो rover है हमको बहुत कुछ interesting details देने वाला है. This Chandrayaan 3 mission is as of now scheduled to land on the surface of moon on 23rd of August. It's a long journey धरती से लेके चांद तक, but जब ये land करेगा उस time पे मतलब हमें बहुत कुछ डिटेल्स मिलने वाली है, and I'm sure it's gonna help ISRO for the further missions. अभी स्पेस की बात करते करते दिमाग में इंस्टेंटली स्ट्राइक होता है इस मूवी के बारे में, विच आई एम श्योर आप सबने देखी होगी. मेरी तो इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ माय पर्सनल फेवरेट्स, रॉकेटरी. If you have not seen the movie, you should. तो अभी right after the break, I'm gonna talk to Narayanan sir, और हम उनसे जानेंगे about his viewpoint on Chandrayaan 3. We'll learn some new things about space. We'll know more about what he thinks about the future of ISRO and how ISRO would definitely help our country to shine more in the field of space. Everything coming to you right after this short break. Hello guys, welcome back from the break, and अभी this section is going to be a real exciting one because हमारे साथ में हैं नरायणन सर, जिनके बारे में हमने मूवी में तो देखा ही है, बट अभी he is right here to discuss more about ISRO and चंद्रयान. सर सबसे पहले before we talk about Chandrayaan 3, I have seen the movie. We learned a lot about what went, to develop the Vikas engine. But because it was a movie, I would want to know directly from you, if you can recall those days at ISRO, आपका experience कैसा था while, you were in the team and you were developing the Vikas engine.
You remember in the beginning, the liquid systems had difficulty in funding. At that time, there was an idea of a barter deal with the French. The deal is that we will provide them manpower, of course for a price, and then they can equate the manpower cost to their own engineers, which would be otherwise very expensive. This was a barter deal. In the process, we were working together with them in the development of the so-called Viking engine, which we named it as Vikas engine later. After coming back, also we didn't have much of a funding. The real funding started after the successful test in France. That was the first test the Vikas engine went through, and it was a grand success. It was for a duration of 180 seconds. So that is how the Vikas engine experience is looked at.
So speaking of the Chandrayaan mission, the entire series of Chandrayaan missions, starting from Chandrayaan 1, जहाँ पे water molecules were confirmed on the surface of moon. Chandrayaan 2 was again a unique mission जहाँ पे we had a lander as well, but वो lander unfortunately could not make it. Now with Chandrayaan 3, I have learned that this is a failure safe mission. Can you please explain what does that mean? At the same time, what's your take on this mission? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, actually Chandrayaan 2 was certainly, as you said, it is partial success or a partial failure, whatever way you want to look at it. there was a problem at the fag end of the program. So Chandrayaan 2 crash landed because of a software problem, and there was a hardware problem too. Whatever is a problem which we got into Chandrayaan 2 are rectified, and then we had a brainstorming session probably to understand what can further go wrong, and then all those things are simulated, and then the tests were conducted, and then I hope the Chandrayaan 3 will be a grand success. In my opinion, it will soft land, and also it will do the experiments which it is planned to do.
Sir, I would bring in one interesting finding here. I mean, it's obvious that the budgets that we have at ISRO, they are at times, one of the lowest globally. What's your take here? Do you think this is at times an enabler?
Actually, these low budget things are primarily due to our own intelligence. The low cost is also due to the fact that our expenses in salary and other things are not as much as an engineer will get in USA or France for that matter. So that way our expenses are less and we make use of others' experience. See, after all, finally the goal is you have to come to the market with an ability to launch heavier payloads in the orbit. So that way I think it is only beneficial to the organization.
So one last question for you. I mean, the normal public, the general public, including myself, we all hear about the new achievements by ISRO that, okay, हम Mars पे पहुंच गए, अभी हम Chandrayaan 3 से Moon पे जा रहे हैं. Can you please put some light on how exactly these ISRO mission they're going to help our country in future?
So as we see it, we are now talking about Gaganyaan and probably a space station. I don't think that we have any plans of interplanetary travel or any more Mars mission, to the best of my knowledge. So primarily we will be concentrating on standard satellite launches and heavyweight satellite launches, which are to meet our own requirements as well as on a commercial basis. So that way, that is one activity, namely that you launch satellites. Another activity will be, you are talking about Gaganyaan and then the space station. Of course, that is an involved project for which you need a lot of money, but to the best of my knowledge, I think we are talking about the project in a serious mode.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this detailed information, with all of us. Tech is not just limited to a smartwatch or a smartphone. It goes beyond. And this is the show which kind of brings all that beyond stuff right in front of you. अगर आपकी तरफ से कुछ भी suggestion है, if you want to write a letter of appreciation or a nice feedback, you know the address. It's tg@ndtv.com. I look forward to all your emails, all your suggestions, because वही मेरे को बताने वाले हैं what should be the next episode, and some more surprises coming your way very, very soon. I'm gonna see you next week. That's all for now. Have a good day.